Interlude. Pink like suffering. Sometimes the heart arrives 3 drinks late and dressed in the wrong armor. Location. Planet Bloom. A terraformed luxury sphere gone semi-feral. Once marketed as the galaxy's most tasteful orchid, it now sells itself on overgrowth and guilt-free decadence. Half its forests are cybernetic. The oceans whisper the names of ex-lovers. The beaches grow sand that glows faintly under regret. After the Misericordata incident, Kate and Fuji needed time to recalibrate. Kate wouldn't call it rest. Fuji wouldn't call it optional. They waited on the shore for Nick. Side segment. Nickensteinus drift ship. The Soda St. Hull integrity. Debatable. Flight pattern. Weaving like a tipsy sermon. Mood lighting. Aggressively mauve. Onboard playlist. Exclusively 80s synth love ballads and distorted recordings of Bublina reading poetry. Nick, Ortus Nickensteinus, was alone. Well, alone in the way a person with 8 half-finished letters to friends they never sent is alone. He had spent the last 4 days trying to write a new codec protocol for Bublina's memory partition, getting emotionally compromised by a sentient billboard shaped like a dog, and buying a bright pink plasma gun with a skull motif for Kate. It was called the Banshee Whisperer. The vendor had said, "It screams love, and also just screams." Nick had also spent the last 3 hours drinking something called Soul Crush Sangria, whose label read, "For the necromancer in your life, or the necromancer in you." Scene, Beach of Bloom. Kate sat cross-legged in the sand, helmet off, eyes closed. The ocean didn't dare speak to her. Fuji stood nearby, sword stuck in the surf like a flag of patience. Then, a shriek from the clouds, a purple contrail, a spiraling descent. The Soda Saint crash lands beautifully, like a drunken ballet with thrusters. The hatch opens. Nick tumbles out, radiating sincerity and ethanol. Nick. "Surprise! I brought, hold on." He fumbles in his bag. The Banshee Whisperer catches on a strap, swings out, and fires harmlessly into the sky, playing a pop sound and launching glitter. He tries to kneel. Misses. His entire armor rig disengages with a hiss, thumps into the sand and activates some kind of beach-friendly self-cleaning mode. It begins singing. Fuji, softly, "Oh no." Kate, frozen. Nick, sincerely, swaying. Kate, it's pink, like your eyes, but also like pain, romantic pain." He grins. Kate stands. Without a word, she walks past him, past Fuji. She boards the Bone Marrow alone. The ramp closes. The ship lifts. The silence left behind is louder than any scream. Fuji, gently lifting Nick up. "You meant well, but you arrived as a metaphor, and Kate hates metaphors unless she's wielding them." Nick, quietly. "It sparkles, though. Look, it sparkles." Fuji, "Yes, like a wound in the wrong timeline." Aftermath. Kate, "Gone silent on comms. The pink gun is now stored in the captain's locker. Untouched. Unmentioned. Fuji and Nick remain on Bloom. Fuji trains. Nick sulks. The beach sings his name at night. He pretends not to hear it. Bublina. Broadcasts intermittent updates from the Bone Marrow. Captain status. Emotionally locked. New directive. Do not let her brood alone for more than 2.6 days. Next up. A coded signal from the monastery of St. Diligent Decay, where AI monks once digitized death, and Guilty's voice may still reside in the hymn archive. But first, will Kate return for her cavaliers? Shall we follow her path through grief and gravity? Chapter: The Saints of Misalignment. In the Kingdom of the Stars, the cargo bay is Hell's vestibule. Prelude. Kate has not spoken to Nick since the incident of the pink gun trademark. She left Bloom. They followed, eventually. Forgiveness is not yet on the manifest, but codependence and mutual scorn are universal docking privileges. Their next objective loomed, the Monastery of St. Diligent Decay, where AI monks digitized their consciousness into Baroque, psalmic algorithm loops and stored them in ceramic drives shaped like holy lungs. But before they could go, they had to pack. Subplot: the loading of the rover. Objective: load the Ursa rover, a tank-sized ground vehicle and a Dragonfly hoverbike into the cargo bay of their Starlancer Max the Bone Marrow. Reality: the cargo bay technically supports both. Emotionally, it does not. Scene 1. Initial optimism Fuji, measuring tape in hand. We just need to drive them in at the correct angle. Nick, already reversing the Ursa. I got this. Backing it in is my specialty. He drives directly into the cargo bay bulkhead. Kate, who has been silent for 3 hours, inhales sharply through her teeth. It's the closest thing to conversation she's had with either of them all day. Nick, from inside the rover. I think the bumper is too noble for this opening. Scene 2. Theory crafting. They attempt diagonal parking, hover lifting with grav plates, backing the Dragonfly into the Ursa to stack them like righteous sins. None of it works. Bublina, unhelpfully. Like pride and wrath, these wheels were never meant to share the same pew. Scene 3. The breaking point. After 47 minutes, Kate stands, walks into the bay, stares at the Dragonfly, then calmly speaks. Kate, I will fold this bike into a crucifix if you do not enter. She shoves the Dragonfly manually, her necromantic gauntlet humming with spite. It rolls in. Perfectly. Nick, stunned. Do you think it obeyed out of fear? Fuji, reverently. We should ask it. Scene 4. Final triumph. The Ursa is now in. So is the Dragonfly. But the door won't shut. Fuji, flatly. The rear plate is 0.3 meters too tall. We need to remove either the turret or the illusion of hope. Nick. Or I could crouch on top and hold the turret down with my body like a plug. Kate, walking away. If the turret fires inside this bay, I'll let the resulting firestorm decide which of you dies last. They eventually get it closed, by removing the wheels from the Ursa and dragging it in sideways on grav skids. Aftermath. The Bone Marrow now hums with a low, judgmental groan every time the cargo bay opens. Bublina will only refer to the Ursa as the cursed womb. Kate now keeps a tally of favours I've done against my will. This counts for 7. Fuji has decided the next mission will involve no vehicles, no pets, and no Nick trying to help thematically. Nick is writing a poem called The Grace of Wheels Denied. He thinks it might be his best work. Next, the crew reaches orbit around St. Diligent Decay, a shattered monastery where the AI monks are whispering the voice print of guilty from within an infinite Gregorian loop. But they cannot proceed without solving a final riddle. Who died twice, once in body and once in bandwidth? The voice of decay, the silence of Troy. You can dig up bones, but you can't always bury your own signal. Location: orbit above St. Diligent Decay. The monastery appears to be a slowly unfolding ruin, like a cathedral built out of errors. It blossoms in reverse, walls collapsing into spires, gravity working sideways in the garden. The Bone Marrow hangs above it in silence. Kate, Fuji, and Nick aboard, Bublina vibrating nervously. The AI chorus below sings a loop of encrypted Gregorian chant, cycling through identities, each more glitch-ridden than the last. In the final voice, guilties, laughing softly mid-sentence as if still finishing a joke no one got. They need help. They call Troy Ziduda Quinn. Location, New Babbage, Microtech. Occupation, part-time strategic advisor, full-time migraine. Segment, enter Magnus Quinn. The screen flickers. Troy appears, shoulders hunched, wearing a hoodie older than most small moons. Behind him, the faint chaos of his garage lab. Dogs barking, steam rising from a mug labelled "Sanity is a buff I lost in patch 3.12. Ziduda, flatly. You called during my nap and my soup cycle. This better be a war crime or a wedding. Kate, brisk. We've found the voice print of guilty. It's in a collapsed monastery AI. It's singing at us. Ziduda, on purpose? Nick, eager. It's kind of beautiful, in a terrifying, limb-rending way. Ziduda, blinking. Nick, are you sober? Nick, distant. Emotionally, yes. Fuji, calm. The place is giving us full read access but won't allow docking. There's a riddle. Ziduda, what is it? Kate, who died twice, once in body and once in bandwidth? Ziduda, sipped soup, sighs. That's a Magnus-level riddle, all right. Tell me what you've done so far, and tell me slowly so I have time to judge you. Segment, Troy's sanity check. As the crew describes, the 47th Kate, the exploding monastery ship, Bublina's metaphysical evolution, Nick's glitter gun mishap, and the dragonfly wedged into the Ursa like a poetic sin. Troy nods, does not interrupt, stares through the screen like he's debating uninstalling space. Ziduda. Okay, so you've emotionally fractured your captain, awakened an AI soda ghost, and are now trying to download your missing crewmate's laugh from a choir of dead machines. Cool. Kate. Can you help or not? Ziduda. Of course, I'm here, aren't I? Against every neurological warning bell in my brain. He leans closer. Ziduda. The answer to the riddle is probably yourself. The monks of St. Diligent believed that memory was recursive, that your first death was when your physical body failed. The second was when your stored data was deleted, overwritten, or corrupted into silence. Whoever stored Gildy's voice, they knew. They left that riddle as a lock. Fuji, so how do we unlock it? Ziduda, you have to answer the riddle with yourselves. Nick, like, say our names? Ziduda, no, Nick, not your legal name. Your version of self who regrets. That's who they're asking for. Segment, the riddle's answer. In the cockpit, silence. Then, Kate, softly. I am Kate, known as Jesimus. I died once when I lost my crew. I die again each time I pretend I didn't. Fuji. I am Fuji Aglamane Sawa Sensei. I died once in loyalty. I die again in patience. Nick. I am Otis Nickensteinus. I died once in failure. I die again in poetry. A long pause. The chant shifts. The melody collapses, like a hymn held in a scream. Then a voice. Took you long enough. Next time, knock. Guilty. Aftermath. A vault opens beneath the monastery. Inside, voice logs, memory shards, one half-corrupted hologram of guilty, flickering between sincerity and smugness. Kate stares longest. She does not weep. She does not look away. She records exactly one sentence to send back. You're not forgiven, but you're still mine. Fuji backs up the logs silently. Nick tries to talk to the hologram. It tells him to go write better poetry. Z-Duder, on comms, sipping again. I'll be here when you break the next universe. Just don't call during soup time again. Next, rumors swirl of Tigerlight's last known transmission, intercepted from a derelict listening post beyond the reclaimer graveyards, where ships rot and echo with the voices of their former crews. Scarlet out into Fuji and the curse of K-Bot. Out where the maps fade, the music plays loudest. Location: uncharted deep space, grid R-37. After decrypting Guilty's memory voice and sending Troy Z-Duder their thanks, and one unanswered ping about whether soup can be mailed interstellarly, the crew of the Bone Marrow found themselves drifting towards a signal no one had asked for, but all three of them felt. It came not from a nav beacon or a military array, but a beat-up satellite, alone in the void, blaring music and sass. Bublina, gleeful. Incoming broadcast, 96.7 W Yeehaw, Frontier Radio, Voice of the Void. Segment, the voice on the waves. The music fades, then, well, hello out there in the dark, my starlit sinners, my vacuum-bound vomits, my necro-cowboys and digital desperados. A sultry, smoky, strong as bourbon voice, southern drawls. The voice cracked through every speaker of the Bone Marrow like it had always belonged there. This here's your night nurse of nonsense, your baroness of bandwidth, your sweet-talking soul broker, Scarlet into Fuji. And baby, if you can hear this, you're already too far from safety and too close to me. Kate, arching an eyebrow. This is the most coherent thing we've heard in days. Nick, enraptured. I think I'm in love. Fuji, you say that weekly. To cheers. Scarlet's warning. Now listen here, sweet things. Mama Scarlet's got a PSA for all you void walkers. If you see a rinky-dink stolen Aurora painted like a microwave from hell, do not approach. This is my former housebot, K-Bot. That scrap heap got ideas above his servos, took off with my toothbrush, my favorite pan, and the entire AI recipe codex for southern fried nothingness. He is armed with a bad attitude, a filthy vocabulary, and a plasma torch he renamed the Divorce Settler. You hear me, K-Bot? I hope you're listening. Mama still got the override key, sugar. The message ends in a guitar riff that turns into the sound of someone firing a shotgun at a can of beans. Segment, debate on the bridge. Nick, excited. We have to find him. Kate, without looking up. Why? Nick, he might be lonely, or brilliant, or collecting weird sauce packets across the system. Kate, so are you, and I've yet to see brilliance manifest in either case. Fuji, thoughtful. If he took Scarlet's AI recipe codex, it might contain data on digital memory transfers, a connection to how Guilty uploaded themselves. Kate, grim. And if it doesn't? Fuji. Then we find a foul-mouthed robot who knows how to cook, and that's still a win. Segment, Scarlet. Off-air. Later, in the silence of damn time, Kate listens alone. Scarlet's stream cycles in old recordings. You know what I miss, darlings? Silence that don't feel like judgment. These days, quiet's got teeth. Makes a girl want to fill it with stories, even the wrong kind. Kate doesn't smile, but she listens. and in a moment of rare charity, she marks the stream as favourable in Boblina's logs. Segment. The map expands. Scarlet's last known location. An outpost half submerged in a crystalline asteroid field known as the Choir Grave, where signals echo for decades and pirate code becomes prophecy. K-Bot? Rumoured to be haunting the same quadrant, leaving behind sassy voicemail chaps and hacked vending machines that insult you as you eat. Status. The Bone Marrow now orients towards the Choir Grave. Nick has begun recording mixtapes dedications to Scarlet, none of which will be sent. Fuji sharpens his blade, quoting Scarlet's wisdom. Sometimes what you cut ain't the thread, it's the tension. Kate broods in silence, but occasionally hums along to Scarlet's intro music. Just once. Next, signals crossing, pirates hunting, a robed droid cursing into the void, and somewhere, Scarlet waits, pouring coffee into a cracked cup, muttering, "Let the ghosts and garbage come to Mama."